What is going on, guys? In today's video I will show you the best monk Invoker build in Path of Exile 2. So in this guide I will give you a quick overview of the setup. Then I will explain what skill gems and upgrades should you focus on. Then as well we'll see what is the best gear and how to get it for both the leveling and mid-game. And then finally we will go over the passive skill tree, your stats, skill rotations, and even what charm should you use. So we would be able to get the highest damage possible and much more. If you're looking for this build on the website, then click my link in this video's description. This setup is very unique because we are going to be utilizing the Tempest Fury for the huge speed and distance buffs. So then we could proc the cast when shocked and summon hundreds of lightning balls to shock the enemies around. It also utilizes the cast on critical to occasionally spawn the Orb of Storm to increase our CC and DPS potential even more. If you're looking for a fun monk starter build with leveling and mid-game setups, then here they are. So let's move over to the build. For our main class we have the monk, and our ascendancy is the Invoker. Because of our weapon, our basic skill is the quarterstaff strike. Then second we got the Tempest Fury with support gems such as Conduction, Martial Tempo, Crescendo, Soul Thief and Life Thief. Then next we got Cast on Shock with support gems like the Ball Lightning, Lightning Mastery, Wild Shards, Impetus and Scatter Shot. Next we have Cast on Critical with the Orb of Storms, Overabundance, Magnified Effect, Spell Echo and Lightning Exposure. Next we have Ghost Dance with support gems such as Clarity, Vitality and Precision. Then for the next two we got the Tempest Bell and Vaulting Impact. And for them we don't want to use any gems. Next we have the Killing Palm and we only get the Behead gem. Then next we have the Enfeeble and we use the Heightened Curse. And finally for our last one we got the Temporal Chains with no support gems. Overall you want to add the Ghost Dance only after you get enough spirits from the Lead Me through the Ascendancy node. Most of this build is structured around using the Tempest Fury and Cast on Critical, so we use gems and skills that will support and increase their damage, while the rest are powerful filler skills that we can use until our main rotation comes back up. Next, let's quickly take a look at our leveling setup, which we can use up until about level 25. So first off we have the Tempest Fury with the Martial Tempo and Crescendo. Then next we have the Storm Wave with the concentrated effect. And then finally we have our Orb of Storms with Overabundance and Controlled Destruction. This is your basic setup up until you get more spirits and points to spend. So for leveling, just keep using the Tempest Fury with the Storm Wave and the Orb of Storms for big single and AoV damage. Also, once you get a good quarterstaff that has some combination of flat physical damage, increased physical damage and or flat lightning damage, then you should probably start going into the mid-game build. And on top of all of this, don't forget to use the Tempest Bell skill, as it plays a huge role, so spam it whenever you can. Next up we have our passive skill tree. For most new players, this can seem extremely daunting, but actually it's quite simple. In very simple terms, every character is granted one passive skill point every time they level up, and sometimes are even granted more for completing certain quests. In general we have three node types, so small nodes, notable nodes and keystones. All of them act as checkpoints that you want to reach, and make a path to build around a specific playstyle. So let's take a look at our setup, and we want to start at the Evasion and Energy Shield, and go to the right side like this. Then now come back here and get both these nodes, so the Essence of the Storm and the Crashing Wave. Then next we continue the path like this, get the Momentum of the Shoot on our way, and continue making our way up until the top and taking all of these nodes in our way as well. Then next up we take the right side and get all of these three nodes. And then finally from here, we make our way all the way to the left side and get these nodes in whatever order you prefer. And then last but not least, we come back all the way to the middle and here's our ascendancy points. And this is how it should look like. So first we want to get the Sunder My Enemies, then the Soul Spring Eternal, then Lead to Me Through the Grace, and finally Protect Me from Harm. To simplify my decision making in the main tree, then basically we wanted to prioritize the 10-fold attacks and Killer Instinct nodes, as this will give us the biggest build upgrade, so we wanted to get them first. On top of this, the small attack nodes, so the 10% ones, are good as well in early game, so we get them as well. In general, in PoE2, earning skill points take a lot of hard work, so it will be wise not to spend your points recklessly. You can refund your passive points later, but only at a cost, so following a specific setup is extremely useful. If you're following my setup, then make sure to not deviate from it. as some of my decisions that I make might not make sense at first, but is going to pay off later. So please use the exact same path as I have right here. And don't forget that you can check this video's description to find the link for this website, and this should help you to make it easier for you to follow the path. Then next we have our gear. The weapon of our choice is the advanced crackling quarterstaff with critical, speed, and of course the min and max damage. This is not required, but in the best case scenario we could get at least one prefix with the lightning damage. Then for the helmet we have the advanced brim helm with armor and evasion, and if possible then get maximum life prefix. Then for the chest we have the advanced anchorite garb with evasion and energy shield, and if possible then get more evasion or maximum life. Then for belt we have the fine belt with maximum mana. Then for gloves we got the adorned gloves with energy shield, and if possible then also get maximum life. Then for boots we are using the advanced frayed shoes with evasion and energy shield, and if you can then get maximum mana increase. Then for our first ring we got the ruby ring with the fire resistance and our maximum life, while on the second one we got the sapphire ring with cold resistance and evasion rating. And then finally for the amulet we got the azure amulet with increased mana regen and evasion. As the game just launched, so this is a starter setup, which should be more of an example of what stats and prefixes to look for. Your weapon will be the most important upgrade, so prioritize flat damage of any type. Specifically the lightning damage roll will be the most important one, as your skills themselves can do a lot of conversion as well. And then for defenses, make sure that you're regularly updating the base type of your gear, so look for increased mana, life and any type of resistances, to try to get them at least to 75% cap. Some evasion is also important to roll, especially on the body armor. As far as getting this gear goes, gearing up in the campaign is relatively straightforward. Most players will just focus on increasing their damage output and survivability. At this point there's no best gear or specific item that you should farm, as the campaign is just a brief introduction to the game itself, and you will be getting better gear left and right. However, once you reach the early stages of mapping, which should happen around level 65, it's crucial that you start mainly focusing on farming Atlas of the Worlds, and just keep repeating maps until you reach tier 16. If you're looking for an in-depth guide on the best gear and how to farm them after the campaign, then watch my dedicated gearing guide video. Then on top of this, we need to quickly look into the charms. Charms are incredibly useful, as by having the right one equipped at the right time can save you from dying. If you're struggling with certain bosses, then look into what gem type they are using, and then use that specific charm to increase your resistance. For me personally, I like to use the ruby charm for fire damage, then sapphire charm for cold damage, and then the stone charm for when I get stunned. But as I've said, which one you choose will entirely depend on the enemies that you're fighting, so feel free to experiment and mix and match. And now finally, let's quickly take a look at how this build will work. So for bossing or large rare enemies, we want to start this rotation by engaging with the Vaulting Impact, and then hit enemies with the Tempest Fury. This combo will utilize a huge attack distance and fill our screen with the lightning bolts that do big damage. And then from here, if the enemies are not dead, then we can follow it up with the Enfeeble and then the Tempest Bell. As I mentioned previously, our Tempest Bell will play a huge role on our DPS, so spam it as much as possible. And then as far as all the other skills go, they are just filler spells, so just use them until you get the main rotation back up. If you enjoyed this video, click like, subscribe and comment. If you're interested in more content, then check out my channel and I will see you in the next one, so take it easy, peace.